Okay.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fazril bin Arufizan from program Diploma in Ship Construction and Maintenance. Student ID 561023223030.
My name is Muhammad Haikal bin Nasradi. My student ID 561023228089. Hello, my name is Muhammad Afiq Daniel bin Muhammad Af. My student ID is 561023222157 and I'm from Diploma in Ship Construction and Maintenance.
Okay, in this video we will review about resin infusion. Resin infusion process. How to build a carbon fiber plate. This plate is going to be used because we want to build a pair of carbon fiber sunglasses, and we can use this as the frame.
Or,
We could make drone bodies.
yes,
We could make RC car frames.
the world is our oyster,
We could do
John.
lots of things with it.
Materials.
What's the first rule of everything?
Have fun.
Well, okay, that's what's the second rule then?
Safety.
Safety, that's right.
Since we're making a flat plate, we're using something extreme.
Wrapping the surface. A flat plate. The glass is smooth. It gives a really nice shiny surface on one side. We also mask off the edge because we are going to put a vacuum bag on it. And the vacuum bag requires vacuum integrity. And so if we have wax on the edge when we put our tape down, it probably won't stick to it.
Applicator. And then just rub it everywhere on the surface.
First thing is we're going to wax up the glass, then rub it everywhere on the surface. Make it as a thin a coat as possible because we're going to be buffing it off, and if it really thick, you will have a lot of work ahead of you. Then let it dry depending on how thick the wax is. It takes about 4 to 5 minutes.
Right here.
As soon as it's not slimy to the touch, you can just wipe it off. And then just do one more final buffing because there will be some little wax particles that are left on the surface.
Once we've done that, we get to do it 5 or 6 more times.
So to give yourself about an hour to prep the surface.
It
Let it
could
dry.
take that much, half an hour to an hour.
Okay.
We're going to remove the masking from the edge.
Sealant tape. We're going to remove the masking from the edge, and we're going to put our vacuum bag sealant tape all around the edges, and that will give us a really tight seal for our vacuum bag because we can't have any air leaking into the part.
I think it's someone that has a ton of vacuum.
We'll start in one corner. We'll lay it down right on that area where we removed the tape.
Okay.
We can either cut it on the corner or fold it around the corner.
Aha.
So when we get to this corner, we want to make sure that we overlap it without the backing. Let's reach over and grab our...
Material placement. This is the carbon fiber. We want to make sure that when we put everything together, that we don't have any of the carbon fibers going across the tape because that will create a leak path.
That will create a leak path. Just remember, anything that shows up on the surface will show up in your part. We have a material called flow media.
Flow media. A material called flow media
a material called flow media, which allow us to lead the resin flow over the surface. Spiral tubing and resin hub placement, where have spiral tube when will go on the inlet and the pool is allow the resin to flow from an inlet all the way up across the surface, and the resin will flow more heavily across. The tap it down to the is dome of. The next thing we have the resin hub. This is where hot resin will be introduction to the bag. So when take this and when just cram it over the top of this in category on this part. Vacuum bag application. So the next thing we need to do is we need to put the vacuum bag on in. Make sure the bag already cut. Notice the it generally the same width as the part. Make the bag nice and square so it easy supply in, and is to account from any ridges or thing that you have bag will go around them is time of bridging over the top of them. 7. Bag plate, where when to plait in hair. So take the bag and just pull it up thing there. Show us where the center of the bag is, and what we will do is we bring this down to the center, and they will left to pleats and there from the pot. It where one can, if we have any less hunting, where evacuate the eye out from the system. So we need to have a way to get the eye out, and we also have to have way to get the resin in. So this will bed out our inlet pot, and this will bed out exit pot.
Going to introduce the vacuum.
This is
Yeah.
the vacuum accumulator. To me, basically it looks like a big metal pot with a
Yeah.
sealable lid.
Yeah, this can also be called a vacuum chamber.
Okay.
These are special clamps. You can pull it apart
Aha.
and then put it right over the tube,
Okay.
stick it back together, snap it on. So we're going to leave the vacuum side open,
All right.
put it down here about an inch off the top.
Okay.
Let's turn our vacuum on.
See everything tightening up. So it looks like the air is being sucked out.
So now we've switched over to our in-house vacuum line, which doesn't have any noise, and we can actually hear our leaks a little bit better. And you can hear them all the way
I
around.
hear about 4 leaks right now, John.
Maybe more. But you can, when you hear a leak, you can just simply press. See that found
Yep.
one? Sometimes they're right here in the corners.
Okay.
Sometimes they're along the edges. So we just continue to work them until we don't hear any more. If we look at our vacuum meter here, we can see that we are currently pulling about 26 inches of mercury. That is the measurement for vacuum. So it's not PSI, but it's inches of mercury.
Okay.
So at our altitude, 26 inches is about as good as it gets.
How long do you want to let this sit for? To know that's holding.
Depending on the size of the part, you can let it sit for a minute, 2 minutes, or if it's a very large part with a lot of detail, you might want to wait half an hour to an hour sometimes.
Okay.
But you'll notice by the meter here, when that stops moving and it reaches its full potential, there really isn't much more to be pulled out of it. Now we need to look at our leak.
Next step, we need to do a vacuum test on it. Vacuum chamber. There are special clamps. You can pull it apart and then put it right over the tube and stick it together. So we are going to leave the vacuum side open, put it down here about an inch off the top, and turn the vacuum on. See everything tighten up, so it looks like the air is getting out, sucked out. Now we have switched over to our in-house vacuum line, which doesn't have any noise and can actually hear our leaks a little bit better. Sometimes they are right here in the corners, sometimes they are along the edges. Vacuum meter. We can see that we are currently about 26 inches of mercury. That is the measurement for the vacuum. So it's not PSI, it's inches of mercury. Depending on the size of the part, you can let it sit for a minute, 2 minutes, or if it's a very large part with a lot of detail, you might want to wait half an hour. Based on the amount of material that you use, there's a number for carbon fiber called GSM, or grams per square meter, that tells you how heavy it is per square meter. Formula: GSM times surface area times the number of plies. Then we need to add some for the tubes and the material. We like to add about 1,000 grams. We just to make sure that we have enough resin, because if you run out of resin, you start sucking out through this tube. That's big problem for your part. We are going to use our West system 105 system with our 209 hardener. 209 is a slow hardener, give us about 40 minutes of pot life. We are going to use slow hardness so that we have enough time to make it pass through there. Let resin run all the way across and then up into the tube. You want to stop the flow so that it can absorb all the resin that's back there, because there will be less vacuum back here. Work itself across, went pretty fast. It was about 10 minutes to that point. Resin is starting to pull up into the tube. Now we are ready to take it apart. So first thing, we save the clamps. Everything is disposable. Cut those tubes after the resin cure. So now we can take the chromate and just peel it off. We can use razor blade to get under these edges, pop it up, and then we can start peeling it. So now we can do the same process. Look how beautiful that is. It's got some flex. This is only 6 layers, so we are about 60,000 to 65,000 ticks.
Tube. Let's open this up and see what happens. Here comes the resin.
Voila. I see it flowing down to the port.
Yep. So it's coming down through the port now. We're going to open it up a little bit more just to get that flow in there.
Now you see the resin start coming down the tubes.
Now you can see it coming clear to the ends. And that's roughly been about a minute.
So for a size like this, what do you think? 5 minutes to?
Maybe 15.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
The material is approaching our hub.
Yep.
And we kind of want to restrict that flow. So we're going to turn off the resin right now and let the existing resin that's kind of pooled on this end, makes this side a little bit soft, let it work itself across. Went pretty fast. It was about 10 minutes to that point. We can see here that the resin is starting to pull up into the tube.
Okay.
Air surges that are coming through there, which is a good sign. And we're just waiting for this to get all the way across. We can see that the resin has gone all the way across the surface. It hasn't gone all the way here, but that's okay. It's gone through our material,
right,
and it's all wet out. So now we want to close off the vacuum so that we can let it cure.
So we've closed it off. Do we just let it sit overnight?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, John. So it's been a whole day.
So now we're ready to take it apart.
Excellent. Let's see how this plate turned out.
Okay, so first thing, we saved the clamps. Everything else is disposable.
And I noticed you already cut the tubes.
Cut those tubes after the resin cured last night.
All right.
So now we can just take the chromate and just peel it off. We can use a razor blade to get under this edge.
Kind of pop it up.
Pop it up, and then we can start peeling it. There you go. And look at that.
Nice. Again, this is just the greeted cloth with some resin in it.
Now we have our part here. Nice surface there.
All right.
So now we can do the same process. Just move under it and slide under there. And
okay.
This is where we're going to be a little bit careful. And once we get it started, I take a popsicle stick and just kind of work it over there.
Can't wait to see this.
And voila.
Well, this is what I was looking forward to, that nice shiny finish.
Yeah, look how beautiful that is.
All right. Pretty stiff. Well, it's got some stiff, some flex. This is only 4 layers?
6 layers. So we're about 60,000, 60 to 65,000 thick.
Okay.
What are we going to do with it?
I don't know. We talked about sending this to our water jetting partner, maybe make some sunglasses. Talked about doing a body for a drone.
Right.
Let's hit the drafting table and come up with some things.
Okay.